'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness everlasting. Woo! 'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness. Woo! 'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness everlasting. Woo! 'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness. Oneness, oneness, ocean heart. Oneness, oneness, everlasting. Oh, oneness, oneness, ocean heart. Oneness, oneness, everlasting. 'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness everlasting. Woo! 'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness. Woo! 'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness everlasting. Woo! 'Tis time we meet in the ocean heart of oneness. Woo! Oh, oneness, oneness, ocean heart. Oneness, oneness, everlasting. Oh, oneness, oneness, ocean heart. Oneness, oneness, everlasting. Let's just embrace the space dweller, the infinite. In every unit of space is the bliss spirit, is the oceanic heart of our one beloved, everywhere, omnipresent, right here, right now, in every atom of our being, every cell of our being is the one beloved. We are infinite. We are spaceless. We are timeless. We are cosmic beings. And it doesn't serve us and behoove us or make anything better or brighter if we stay imprisoned just in body identification. All right? As jailbirds, rather than soul birds, flying high, flapping our wings, flying high into the golden light. This is how I greet you all this morning. Brooke, you got that right. There's something going on with the audio, Brookie, but it's so good to see you and Margaret. Amazing to see you. This is the biggest moment ever in the history of creation. This moment. How could it not be the biggest when all there is spirit? The biggest moment ever is right now. The most important portal to your higher self couldn't be wider and more open than it is right now. You and I are immersed in an eternal light. We are absolutely drenched in the cosmic Shakti shower of the Om vibration, the Holy Spirit. We are indivisibly one with the cosmic spirit bliss. So, welcome to Gita study. Welcome to verse 2 of chapter 2. It just gets more and more exciting, and then Vince comes on. Nice to have you back, Vinny and Jolene. I can't tell you, absence definitely makes the heart grow fonder. We're on Mr. Toad's wild ride here on planet Earth. Have you noticed? We are behind enemy lines. We've lost contact with the headquarters up here in our higher consciousness, and phone home ET. It's like Desperada and Desperado time. So welcome again. Let's do what we've come here to do, and that is nothing. Let's be what we've come here to do. Nothing. Let's accomplish what we have come here to accomplish. Nothing. because we are everything. If you hold out for one little tiny part of your little self today, that one little part's going to pull the whole possibility of everything I've just said. It's going to just smash it. It's going to just put it in a little box and close the lid and stomp on it. So it's all or nothing. We're either in or out. All right? One thought can take us into the realm of spirit. One thought can take us into the realm of hell. Welcome to Bhagavad Gita. I'm telling you, I'm just like, I can't even read one line anymore, and I'm not like, just absolutely thrilled to the gills with the spirit behind those words and the blessings that are pouring in from the inner worlds into you and me right now, for even considering to be taking a few minutes of our very, very busy lives and our very, very, hey, let's face it, you are VIP. Very important presence. Each of you, very important divine presence and essence. Do you feel how important you are? Do you feel how sacred you are? Are you guys starting to feel something really super special happening from the inside out of you? I hope so, dear. I really hope so. And if not, you're going to feel it this morning. How's that for a prophecy? Verse 2, chapter 2, the Lord says, in such a critical moment, and this is speaking to us, the Lord of your higher self, in such a critical moment, Jolene and Vinny and Mickey and Vinny and Jolene and Lisa and Brooke and Margaret. I'm just following the stream. In this such a critical moment, whence comes upon thee, O Arjuna, this despondency? I love how Krishna's going to address our frumpiness, man, in these next verses. I love how he's going to say, come on, get it together. What is this weak-heartedness? What is this despondency? You are totally not acting your true nature here, Arjuna. I love to be spoken to by my higher self that way. Do you guys? In such a critical moment, whence comes upon thee, O Arjuna, this despondency? Behavior improper for an Aryan, disgraceful, detrimental to the attainment of heaven. In such a critical moment, I keep repeating this, it is the most critical moment each of you have ever been in all of your lifetimes, this critical moment. And guess what? You're going to be in the wow of the now of every critical moment this entire day. You are going to be in the possibility of opening up your heart to the infinite you, or you're going to stay in this identification from the ego perspective and being fixated on whatever it is you're doing and being and thinking, which I told you already is nothing. Get over it. You are everything. So it's disgraceful, this behavior of us forgetting our cosmic nature. It's disgraceful. It's detrimental to the attainment of heaven. The heaven of peace, the heaven of joy, the heaven of contentment, the heaven of true love that ever increases, the heaven of consciousness that keeps you exploring into the infinite realms, rather deploring what happened in the news today in this false realm. You know, we're explorers, not deplorers. We're watchers and witness of an unfolding miracle of ever new magic and joy and happiness. We're not here to gossip about what is unreal. and to keep watching reruns of the soap opera of this mortal existence, and reruns and rehearsals of our worries and fears. And even when you get everything, all of you here have everything you need, and probably maybe thinking you need more or want more. Why don't we just rest in the abundance on all levels of our soul nature, which is the spirit in us, spirit soul? Having felt God's response, this is Yogananda's commentary, the devotee's consciousness soars. So having heard these words already this morning, can your consciousness soar out of your limited thinking, out of your limited ways, out of your circumscribed existence? Here's another week. We're starting another week. Fall's coming even to Encinitas. Things are changing, and they're changing fast. And we have no idea how fast things can change to the better when we are ready, willing, and able for that. The devotee's consciousness soars, having felt God's response after our complete giving up the fight and our despondency at the end of chapter 1. And last chapter, we got a little reprieve. We got a little moment, a little respite, because each of you need a break today, and I mean a major break from being human. The devotee's consciousness soars to the transcendent Kutastya state, attunement to the Kutastya Chaitanya, in other words, the universal Krishna or Christ consciousness. Let's see. Those are big words, huh? Oh, universal, that's big words. Christ, Christ had this consciousness. That's big words. I'm still like really, really very unhappy in being happy in being small. I am so thrilled in being so depressed in my daily life of living small that I don't even care about what the Christ and the Krishna consciousness means. Because you know what it means? It means you, darling. It means you, your higher self, your Christ consciousness right here at the point between the eyebrows. That's what it means. And here's what it really means. The presence of spirit immanent in all creation, the presence of spirit immanent in all creation and individually manifested in Brooke, in Jolene, in Vinny, in Mickey, in Vinny, in Jolene, in Lisa, in Brooke, in Margaret. Individually, the presence of spirit immanently manifest in all creation is individually manifested. Should I repeat your names again, just so you get it crystal clear today who you are? Manifested in each being as the soul. Spirit soul, spirit soul, spirit soul, spirit soul. I'm not the body, I cannot die. I'm not the mind, I am changeless. I'm not emotions, I cannot fear. I am the soul whose spirit holds dear. Spirit soul, spirit soul, spirit soul, spirit soul. When you go to work today, tell your clients, time out. Time out. Time out. You think I'm helping you somehow. I'm like the specialist and you're hurting. I'm going to help you out. Really? Really? No. God in you is going to play and to in the God in disguise in this other person. And guess who helps who? Each other. God. Right? So why don't you take a break in whatever you do, and just acknowledge the spirit soul that you are, and acknowledge the spirit soul that this person is. Go to CNN or go to Fox News and acknowledge the spirit soul and all of those commentators and broadcasts. See the president, whatever you want to do, and please, please do yourself a favor and do this world a favor and your children and your children's children a favor, and acknowledge the spirit soul as the presence of spirit immanent in all creation and individually manifested in each being as the soul. End of story. End of game. End of you being the best actor, again winning the Best Actress and Actor Award in the movie of Planet Earth called The Pretenders. Pretending to be this human that you are really, really overacting in, kids. Over dramatizing in. Then you're going to get the trauma from the over dramatizing, and then you are the drama queen and the drama king. Congratulations. It's manifested this omnipresence of spirit immanent in all of creation, in each being as the soul. And here's the end of that sentence. Whose voice is intuition? Remember last week? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, says the soul to you? Can you hear me now? I hope your ears are growing out, trying to listen to that inner still voice of spirit soul that you are. The Christ consciousness, the Krishna consciousness, the Kushtastya Chaitanya, this presence of the infinite spirit as your soul within you, as you, 100% you. Nothing else is real about you at all. Not even close. Good morning, Lorena. Spirit speaks to the devotee through that intelligible, intuitive voice. I mean, do you know what we're saying here? Do you know that the focus of this is on you in a most beautiful, powerful, always non-judgmental, never seeing you as a human? It's always focused on you, the immortal. God is playing with God here. God is courting you and me. The God in you is also either running from the God that is courting the God in you, or you are finally deciding that I'm going to wave the white hanky and say, I surrender, Lord. I surrender, as Hafiz says, to who you keep saying I am. If your love letters are true, dear God, I will surrender to who you keep saying I am. Maybe the head could be bowed a little longer today, the chin lowered, and you just honor the sacred spirit, this omnipresent spirit that is your soul nature. Could you keep your chin a little lower today at times when no one's watching, and you just bow your head, and maybe a few tears will come out and you realize, oh my God, God is me. And I am in God, God in me, I'm in God, we are one. And then go take that across the board to your loved ones. Take it across the board to who you are worried about. What? Are you worried about something? What is that? It's not enough to be everything? It's not enough for you? Because if you forget your everything, the little that you have, you will really think it's not enough. Because that's the game of this delusion. Is that you're not going to feel you ever have enough in this material world. Ever. It's never going to be quite right in this material world. You'll be worried and fearful if you play small. Go cosmic, baby. Go cosmic. Go cosmic. Stay cosmic. Take the high road. Lift your consciousness. Hold on to the oneness of your soul with spirit. Spirit soul, spirit soul. Then watch my live stream from the soul yesterday. It's on Facebook. Watch it. Watch it over and over again. Listen to these streams over and over. Don't allow one worldly thought to stay in your consciousness for more than a split second. Fill your mind with thoughts of the wonder and the beauty and the power of truth. And for heaven's sakes, quit vacillating. O devotee Arjuna, prince of self-control. Oh, devotee Mickey. Oh, devotee Lorena. Oh, devotee Brooke. Oh, devotee Jolene. Oh, devotee Vinny. Oh, devotee Mickey. Oh, devotee Vinny. Oh, devotee Jolene. Oh, devotee Lisa. Oh, devotee, who was at the top of, I think, Brooke. And Margaret. Oh, devotee, prince of self-control, princess of self-control. What do you control over? You control over your controlled burning heart's desire of love is what you are. You're a controlled burning flame of immortal bliss. That's what you are. You control going steady and surrendered in Divine Mother's womb. That's what you control. You control your own lifting up higher nature so that anything that brings you down, you absolutely say no to. You control your existence. You control the level of consciousness. You control the gateway of prana, of how much energy you want to fill your body temple with today. You control how much love you want to radiate to the world. You control how much you want to receive of that infinite love. You control seeing everybody as the infinite, as I mentioned before. You control being the happiest person on the planet. And finally, you control being the purest man and purest woman to be walking on the planet, this earth, with a pure heart and pure mind and the most humble spirit of anyone. That is what you control. Oh, devotee Arjuna, prince of self-control, why are you overcome by dejection? So God's going to pull you aside today and just sit you down, and you're going to have to be in front of that great light and that great love, devastated. And he's going to say, why, Lisa? Why, Mickey? Are you overcome with dejection? Why? Lord himself, your higher self, your soul is going to say, when you are frumping out, why are you overcome by dejection? These relatives of your mind, ego, thoughts, these relatives of your sensual desires, whatever it be, for a nice meal, whatever it may be, these relatives are your fierce enemies and have but one purpose: to destroy your soul's peace. Do you hear me now? Can you hear this? Your soul is talking to you. Not me, not Yogananda. Krishna, spirit, soul is talking to you, to each of us right now. These relatives of all the bad habits we have, all the wandering mind, all of our friggin' opinions about this and that, all of our worried about our children and our grandchildren, and our plans to make up for some lost time and a lot of guilt and shame and a lot of wasted time from being on the highest rung of the highest part of ourself, the soul. We're going to try to just distract ourselves all day long if we're not careful. And these relatives that you are pretending to be, consoling, being in sympathy with, are your fierce enemies and have but one purpose: to destroy your soul's peace. Can you hear me now? To feel pity for them, to feel pity for anything in this world is un-Aryan. Aryan was the word that originally Aryavarta, literally abode of the Aryans, was the name of India in the old days, way back when. So what does Aryan mean? The noble, the holy, the excellent one. So to feel pity for them is un-Aryan, Arjuna. It's not noble. It's not holy. It's not pure. It's not befitting a noble saint. a noble soul. It's not befitting you. It doesn't fit us to be human, man and woman. It doesn't suit us to stay at a certain status quo. If you're on a plateau, you're going to be in an undertow. It doesn't suit us to continue to go on without our hair and soul, our soul lighting up our hair today, if you have some, and being so passionate about our omnipresent nature. It's ridiculous. It doesn't befit us to be small as a human. It's a disgraceful treachery to who you are. You talk about treachery, you talk about the traitors, you talk about the terrorists. Darling, point the finger within and say you one of the most notorious, and you are wanted by the cosmic police right now. You are wanted by the divine soul right now. You are wanted. Your little face is over on a milk carton all over the universe. Wanted. Lost soul. Lost soul. This is a lost and found, you know. We're in a lost and found. Have you even gone to look into the lost and found and see if you found yourself recently? Well, if you're sitting on the stream, at least you're making an effort to find yourself. But we're not on the stream, but 1 hour once a week. And even then, not all of you are able to make the physical one. Not all of you get the sound to work. You know, I'm just wondering what the heck is going on the rest of the time. A disgraceful treachery to the soul. A weakness that will tie you to the nether spheres. We're in the nether spheres, man. We're in the Netherlands. The nether spheres. They ain't good places. This duality is a nether sphere. Human nature, the material creation, is a nether sphere. It's a weakness, a disgraceful treachery to your soul that will tie you to the nether spheres of bodily limitation. How's that? Of bodily and mental limitation. And consciousness limitation. I'm telling you, we're all running the same story that we've run over lifetimes, just under a different scene, playing another little bit part in a role that we are overacting in, and convinced that, we just got to say it. You know, we're just so stoked to be acting this part, this bit part. We're just so stoked, aren't we? To be completely disconfigured by it. To lose not even know that we've lost our soul. The nether spheres of bodily and deny you the heaven of blissful omnipresence. All of this denies us the heaven of blissful omnipresence, cosmic being. Get fit for the infinite you. You know, hang out in the highest consciousness, with the highest consciousness that you can find to download in your mind, and give up on the old consciousness. I mean, you know, you think a little bit of a mantra here and there, and a little bit of maybe read a little bit from your little holy books each day. You have to have, like kids are wearing headphones all the time and they're on their cell phone. This is how we have to cling to God. If you look on the streets, or people going down the beach, everyone has their hands clasped around a cell phone. Or you have their earpods or the headphones on. This is a way we need with the wisdom download now. We only can allow that to be downloaded. If you already have the soul script running, great. If you don't have it running, and there's lots of gaps in between where your thoughts just become very human and your actions become very human, and you're filled with dejection because you're wondering why you're still kind of plateaued, why you still are in moods, why you still feel a little depressed and uneasy, and maybe this dream is even making you feel uncomfortable. Well, that's the reason why. You're thinking like a human. We need to start living and loving like an immortal. And not deny ourselves the heaven of blissful omnipresence. Any sincere, persistent devotee can feel within in meditation the urgings of spirit. You all get a little bit of a hit, don't you, in your meditation? That's the value of just sitting down and being sincere and persistent devotee. You're going to get some urgings. But it is evident that the devotee must be far advanced in the path of meditation before she can prevail on the infinite to vibrate its presence through an intelligible voice of counsel. Did you hear this, Benny? Do you hear this, kids? Do you hear what we're capable of? Do you hear this about this technology that you are 100% and the stuff that you think you are is 100% not the real deal? It's a false bauble. It's going to be recalled back into spirit any day now, any breath now, because there's been a part that is defective in you called being human. That a devotee must be far advanced, but you are far advanced. You're an immortal soul, right? You are spirit soul. Before we can prevail on, and this is a common occurrence for those who have given their life to everything and know that they are nothing. On the infinite to vibrate. The infinite that's in every atom of everything right now, in every atom and cell of you right now, to vibrate in a certain very high vibration through its presence. It vibrates its presence through an intelligible voice of counsel. Can you hear me now, beloved Arjuna, soul, spirit? Can you hear me now? I'm talking to you. Oh, no, who are you talking to, Lord? I'm talking to you. Who you can't be talking to me. I'm not worthy to be talked to by you. I'm talking to you, all deserving, all worthy child of me, the infinite omnipresence. Isn't that amazing technology that could consume you all day in joyous expectancy? What a promise. So many promises are promised us, and they never can be broken. The promises of truth, the promises of who you are. Another promise right here, that you can hear the voice of the infinite talking to you like you are listening to me today. Such a devotee has already gone through a great many battles with the senses and has attained a high spiritual state before being blessed to hear the voice of God made manifest through etheric vibration, Vinny. Etheric vibration. How many of us are attuned to etheric vibration today? Again, boom, 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 boom. Sometimes you come up to a stoplight and the person's got their car down and they got kaboom, the bass, and boom, boom, kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. That kind of vibration maybe, right? You know, or you go to your iTunes and this and that, and whatever else you're putting in your brain, whatever vibration. But we're talking about a high spiritual state, hearing the voice of God made manifest through us from our soul through the etheric vibration. I'm telling you, you are heavenly beings. I'm telling you, we need to go back to heaven. We need to take the first airplane of consciousness out of our limited human thinking. We need to take that first airplane today into the higher etheric vibrations. A devotee who has once reached that exalted state of consciousness might be supposed to be completely free from all attachment of her lower nature. So even these highly evolved beings, you might think are free from all attachment to their lower nature. However, owing to past incarnations, so here we are at whatever state we're vibing at, right? Whether we just are vibing on material vibration, or every now and then we get a little insight into a higher vibration, whatever, we still, all of us, whether you're a highly exalted advanced being or who we are right now, we are all, owing to past incarnations of ignorant past incarnations of identification with the body. Oh, I'm having a hard time to meditate. Oh, I practiced this thing you told me I should practice, and it just doesn't seem to be working. And I just, I'm getting so despondent about it. It just doesn't seem to work. Well, why don't you then go back to this sentence? Owing to past incarnations of ignorant identification with the body, maybe that has something to do with how you're feeling today. And if we're adding to that, in this incarnation, more ignorant identification with the body, OMG, you better get on your knees. OMG, you better be on your knees today and lower that chin and bow your head and pray for divine mercy, children. Even an advanced devotee may temporarily lose sight of the divine state and consequently feel, you know, here's what happens. Every time you lose sight of your highest ambition and aspiration today to keep your consciousness high, and your hand instead of on an iPhone, your hand is with the hand of the Lord and with Divine Mother. And instead of listening to just earth junk, that you are listening to the downloads of some of these streams. You're listening to some of the things that I give when I give counseling. Everyone always gets a recording of it, and I have them for homework. Listening. How many upteen streams do I still have on Facebook? You can go to any time. How many? 87, 88, 89 in the Gita. I'm telling you, you need to put on the wisdom channel now and walk with and humbly with God. And then walk the steps and climb the ladder to the heaven of omnipresent consciousness with your beloved. But anyway, we all can drop down and temporarily lose sight of the divine state and consequently feel a miserable. Here's what happens every time you lower your consciousness. You feel a miserable longing for the fulfillments that you are trying to renounce and overcome and be the master of your lower nature. You're going to feel a miserable longing for those things again, kids, the moment your consciousness lowers. What a choice of words, miserable longing. At this time, spirit, ever conscious of the aspirant. At this time, spirit, ever conscious of you, Mickey, ever conscious of you, Lorena, ever conscious of you, Brooke, ever conscious of you, Jolene and Venny and Mickey and Venny and Jolene and Lisa and Brooke and Margaret, ever conscious of you, right here, right now, ever conscious. Can you hear me now? Can you feel my etheric vibrations? Can you hear me talking to you? No, not me, Lord. You can't be talking to me. I don't know what you're talking about. No, he said, no, I am talking to you. I want you to know what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now? So at this time, spirit, ever conscious of the aspirant, comes to the rescue. Here we go. Here come the soul troops of the devotee, who then hears the voice of God pleading with him from within. So now your soul is pleading with you. Every moment of this exists, pleading with you and me. Pleading. Can you hear your inner voice of your soul pleading with you, kids? Huh? You're not going to listen to anybody. Let's face it. I don't listen to anybody. I only listen to truth. I only listen to what my soul is guiding me. But your soul is pleading with you right now if you want to give that a crack and try to hear that. Thus it is that this stanza describes spirit or Lord Krishna talking to Arjuna, the true devotee, the Lord, your soul, talking to you, the true devotee, he who through self-control has procured God communion. When your communion with God is perfect, the healing's permanent. God communion, that means all the time. I'm in a constant comunicado. I'm talking with you, Lord. I'm walking with you, Lord. I'm crying here, boss. You know, I'm not feeling so good here, boss, but everything is turned to the boss. Everything is turned to God in constant communion and wanting to get into that complete higher vibrational state with the Lord. But in the meantime, we use our lower, we use who we are, we don't fake it, we just are ourselves to the beloved, right? And we just replace all the human ways of going about it with the higher ways that our soul is guiding us to be, and will help us and support us and always come to our rescue. Speaking through the power of intuition, the Lord, but right now, since you've been on such a defunctive mood and threw down your weapons of self-control at the end of chapter 1, now the voice of intuition, this is good for us. We're getting a little spanking here from Krishna. The Lord rebukes Arjuna for despondency. See, you think you just be despondent. Well, that's me. And you know, I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna take care of myself because this is a little me, and I just go at my little pace, you know. You're gonna see now. You're not gonna love yourself in the way that you think you're loving yourself. It's coming right up. Stay tuned. You're getting rebuked now for despondency. The Spirit points out to you and me that the senses, through proximity, have established themselves as our relatives, okay? Point number 1, our senses, through proximity, yeah, taste and touch and smelling, I can hear it, I can smell the bacon. It's frying up right now. I can taste that Bud Light. I can just taste it after work today, right? They're relatives. Come on home, they said. Come on home. Let's enjoy this. You've had a long day of work today. But as enemies can pose as friends and thus gain entry into one's home, so material desires, the great enemies of man, Sri Yukteswar's famous chant, desire, my great enemy, is surrounding me. Desire, my great enemy, with his soldiers surrounding me, is giving me lots of trouble, oh my Lord, is giving me lots of trouble, oh my Lord. That enemy I will deceive, remaining in my castle of peace. Night and day, night and day, in thy joy, O Lord. Night and day, walking with the hand of God. You got your mantras. Maybe I should do a bunch of songs so you guys can listen to those and just boom, you know, just do them with one-on-one, just informally, right? And you just listen. Night and day, in thy joy, O Lord. Night and day, in thy joy, O Lord. You see? Great enemy of man is material desire, can reside, apparently harmless, within our consciousness along with his true friends, the spiritual faculty. So you have your little bit of inspiration, and then you got all your other relatives. Seem to be like a nice little family we have going on within us, right? The senses appear friendly because they promise a temporary intoxicating pleasure in the flesh. Why not? I need a break. We don't realize we need a soul break. We don't realize we need a transcendent break from our complete human mode of operation, our thinking, our doing, our actions, our belief system, our BS and all that. These senses appear friendly because they promise a temporary intoxicating pleasure in the flesh just 4 hours from now. But in the end, invariably bring misery. Dilly dilly, into the pit of misery we go. Dilly dilly, into the pit of misery you go. The first effort of spirit. So now, talking to you directly, Mickey, Lorena, Brooke, and the rest of us soul rebels. The first effort of spirit right now in your life, here today, is to strike, this is point number 2, is to strike at the root of the devotee's momentary lapse. Whew. Is to strike spirit, lightning bolt, the moment you lapse. Wow. Point number 2, that's a big one. Point number 1 was our desires are harmlessly, coexisting in the family of our good habits and then the bad habits, right? And they promise intoxicating moment of some kind of pleasure today just to take a break from being who I'm pretending to be, but in the end bring misery, dilly pit of misery. Then the second one is right now spirit wants to strike at the root of your momentary lapse, of the intensity and ever-growing intensity of your spiritual life. The pity Arjuna feels for his relatives, though, the devotee's sympathetic rationalization in favor of the senses, we know that all too well, is the channel of exchange between the material and spiritual forces. The spirit warns the devotee. We're getting warned. Serena got warned once in that match. Actually, she was just getting her butt kicked, so she was getting really frustrated. And she, had to pick up some kind of distraction because she was getting butt kicked and her ego didn't like it. So she went to the referee, gave her a warning because she said something about, or she got called on something and she should have just fluffed it off and focused on the game to make a comeback and beat that girl. But she got distracted. Then she broke her racket. Then she got another warning and a point taken off. Then in this rules of tennis, if you get after the second warning, the third one, you're going to be defaulted a game. The other person's going to get the whole game, to win the whole game. And they have 6 games to win the match. You see, she didn't listen. So she was rationalizing in favor of the distraction, which distracted her from playing the best match which she could have possibly won. But the main thing is, I think, if you want to know my commentary on that whole thing, is that she was just plain and simple getting her butt kicked and her ego was freaking out. That's my take, because that's what I would have done too. I would have been so frustrated, I would have found any reason to just kind of, blow off my steam. But as a professional athlete, you have to take that frustration and what happened, good call, bad call, whatever, and put it into more passion for the game. The love of the game. In this case, the love of the game of lifting up your consciousness to spirit. And not have sympathetic rationalization in favor of the senses. The spirit warns the devotee. So that's where she got 3 warning, and she got really penalized. The spirit warns the devotee not to sorrow over the senses. Point number 3. Spirit is warning you, big time. Big time. You might think I get fiery at times. What? They're warnings, not from me, but from spirit. They're warnings. Through a nice guy. The spirit warns the devotee not to sorrow over the senses. But something that makes some of you really queasy. Don't talk to me like that. Now, how about you being face to face with your soul, and your soul in this kind of mood right now where it's rebuking you and saying, what the hell's wrong with you? And it's saying, don't sorrow over the senses, to lower a drawbridge of pity over the moat that separates the wisdom castle soul. Night and day, that enemy I will deceive, remaining in my castle of peace. Night and day in thy joy, oh my Lord. To lower a drawbridge of pity over the moat that separates the wisdom castled soul and the segregated inimical senses is to permit psychical enemies to break through the ramparts of self-control and overrun the fair inner kingdom within you. Whoa! Don't lower the bridge, man. Don't lower the drawbridge of pity over the moat that separates your consciousness staying in your wisdom castled soul to allow the inimical segregated senses to permit psychical enemies to break through the ramparts of your self-control, hard-earned self-control, and overrun your fair inner kingdom. Instead of feeling pity, the devotee should rouse the ardor of psychological battle. That's what we're talking about, right? Of psycho. If Serena just could have just stayed on her game, forget that they said the coach was coaching her and she was getting the warning of that. Forget that, man. You're a professional. Now play. Now it's all about sexism and this and that. But my take is a professional athlete learns to control their emotions and frustrations if they are going, that's why guys get kicked out. This is why people get hurt in sport, because they can't control. If you use what was seemingly unfair in any situation in this game of life, and you use it as this, to rouse the ardor of psychological battle until every inordinate desire of the ego or senses has been completely annihilated. She regroups, and then she can come back and win the match. Instead of feeling pity, point number 3, I believe this is, or 4. Instead of feeling pity, the devotee should rouse the ardor. Instead of feeling pity, a pity party, feeling bad about yourself, feeling bad about what was said to you, feeling bad about this and bad about that. Instead of feeling pity that you're not, cutting the mustard, or you don't want to be told that you need to cut the mustard, whatever is your psychological weakness, you need to rouse the ardor of psychological battle until every inordinate desire of the senses has been completely annihilated. To sympathize with evil. Here's another point. To sympathize with evil is ultimately to hand over to it the throne of one's consciousness, the throne of your hard-earned. When you do lift your vibration, that's hard-earned. Now you're going to just hand it over to evil, the throne of your hard-earned, self-controlled consciousness. Sympathy with the devil, man. But I call this dream no sympathy with the devil. But we're all still sympathizing with the devil, aren't we? Handing over the throne of our hard-earned consciousness for a bauble, to a liar, to a cheat, to something that can't satisfy us, can only put you in the dilly-dilly pit of misery. Do no evil. Do not let evil be done through others by your command, and do not tolerate evil by silence. Another point. Do no evil. Do not let evil be done through others by your command, and do not tolerate even by silence. Another point coming up. Non-cooperation with evil is the best way. Non-cooperation. That's Gandhi. Ahimsa, non-violence. Non-cooperation with evil is the best way. This is one of the practices that we practice under Spirit and IR1, our first so-called attunement. Is this non-cooperation with evil. Evil, and my acronym for evil is energy violating immortal love. Anything that has pulled you out from focusing on love in this moment is evil. Anything that just has you occupied, but there's not love in your heart, is evil. It's energy violating the immortal love. So we're not going to cooperate with anything but truth now, okay? Without making a pretentious display of your own goodness. You're not going to have to say anything. Just win the moment. The wow of the now, of this moment, of unspeakable omnipresence, of this magnificent spirit bliss consciousness that's immanent in every particle of creation, in every cell of your body, who's talking to you right now as your immortal soul. Oh my God. And that spirit is your soul. Every instrument of your human body comes from your soul. Lower your chin, bow your head. Surrender to who God keeps telling you you are. Spirit soul. Spirit soul. A true devotee will not foolishly attract evil states unto herself through sympathy with the devil. Through sympathy with these inimical senses. She won't foolishly attract evil states into her by sympathizing with what you think you got to let go of. Oh, you let go of his misery. She who feels sorrow for lost sense happiness and who dares to sympathize with it allots to a lower place the superior, lasting happiness she has known in meditation. So there goes all your meditation efforts. When you feel sorrowful, lost sense happiness, or your own little way of getting the way that something that you wanted to go your way. It doesn't just have to be a sense thing. It could be just you still trying to have not accepted the duality of life, have not accepted the real truth of surrendering to your immortal nature, and you are feeling sorry for that, right? And who dares to sympathize with all that allots to a lower place of superior happiness, lasting happiness you have known in meditation. Such an ignorant reversal of values is a disgraceful thought for a devotee. Such an ignorant reversal of values. Another point, a reversal of values. How many times today are we going to reverse our values? Umpteen? Huh? One moment thinking of God, the next moment completely emotionally involved in something. Some text message. Off you go. That is a disgraceful thought for a devotee. Krishna thus refers to this weakness as un-Aryan, an attitude unbecoming one of spiritual nobility. This is un-Aryan of you, my kids, which is noble, pure, lofty, ideal, spiritual, truthful, like a knight, you know, someone who's in total integrity. It's an attitude unbecoming one of spiritual nobility. A wise person feels pity for the banished good qualities. Why don't you feel pity for the banished good qualities that you are cultivating? Why do you feel pity when you're not cultivating them? Not for the ostracized evil qualities. Then we're doing the opposite again. We all got the cart before the horse. We feel pity for the ostracized evil qualities that are out to destroy you. Huh? The duality. Don't take it personal, please. Here we go. I'm going to end this verse. Man's life is a paradox. He is a soul made in the image of spirit, which can be satisfied only with divine pleasures. Yet, bodily incarnate, we are familiar only with sensory experience. Placed as she or he is between the material and the spiritual, we are bipolar, we are spiritual and material. We must use this endowment of discrimination to distinguish between the real soul pleasures and the illusory pleasures of the senses. Have you got that discernment really, 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 really clear, dear? You got to find out what are your real soul pleasures versus the illusory pleasures of the senses. Krishna says, if you want to know the joy of heavenly consciousness vibrating in every cell of the ether, do away with sense attachment. This is like a big old exclamation point. If you want to know the joy of heavenly consciousness vibrating in every cell of the ether, do away with sense attachment. Heaven, in this stanza, consists of the limitless spheres of divine consciousness as contrasted with the nether worlds, the nether region of bodily limitation. Look at that. Limitless spheres of divine consciousness contrasted to the nether region of bodily limitation. Choose. What kind of life do you want to live? Limitless spheres of divine consciousness or the nether region of bodily limitation. Every soul that is imprisoned by the senses is an omnipresent child of heaven serving out a jail sentence of bodily existence. Jailbirds, not a free bird, not a soul bird at all. Every soul that is imprisoned by the senses is an omnipresent child of heaven serving out a jail sentence of bodily existence. Another point. Come on, this thing is chock full with really pertinent, imminent, timely, critical point advice for us today, isn't it? You got to listen to this thing over and over and over and over again until your life changes by the wisdom that you put this wisdom into your life. This is non-negotiable, man. You all know that. It's non-cooperation. It's no sympathy with the devil. Don't sympathize with the limitations. Don't just feel like you're going to live out the rest of your life with a jail sentence in a bodily existence. When the soul is identified with spirit, it feels itself as one with the joy of limitless space. When the soul as ego limits itself to a particular body, it is pitiably cabined, cribbed, and confined. The three C's: cabin, cribbed, and confined. The soul identified with the body loses its consciousness of omnipresence and becomes identified with the trials and misfortunes of a small ego. God, this is it. This is everything in this one verse today. Of course, it's always everything. Remember, we are nothing. This is everything. Truth is everything. As the ordinary man's consciousness dwells in the brain and heart, here we go, so God's consciousness dwells in the universe. As human consciousness is felt in every cell of the body, so God's intelligence dwells in every cell of space. Guess what? God is you. Get over it. God in you, you in God, you are one. So are you still going to just dwell in your brain and heart? Are you still just going to dwell and feel in your own body? I don't feel so good today. I got to go see a doctor. I'm worried about this and I'm worried about that. Get over it. The devotee who is constantly responsive to bodily sense gratification is unable to spread her consciousness into the space cells. The space cells, the omnipresent, individually unit cells in infinite space of spirit bliss, and thus share the vaster joys, I love this, of the space dweller or spirit. The space dweller. Listen, go hug the space dweller today. Go in front of Whole Foods or some other place and just hug the air. Like you're hugging a tree, and if people wonder what the hell you're doing, do it for 5 minutes. Just hug the space dweller. Hug the space dweller. Hug space. You are space. You are omnipresent. Hug it. And if someone says, what are you doing? You could say, I'm hugging the space dweller. Why don't you try it? We live in infinite space. The omnipresent spirit is right here, right now. I'm just hugging some of it. You know, and hugging some of it, I get all of it. Come on, join me. Let's just hug the space dweller today. Dulled by material pleasures, however, man loses all fine sensitivities to the rarefied joys of spirit. We're just trying to get back the sensitivity to realize how cosmic we are, right? Thirsting for physical enjoyment, circumscribed within the walls of the body, such a one fails to visualize almost anything that's worthwhile. I add, thirsting for physical enjoyment, circumscribed within the walls of the body, such a one fails to visualize the attainment of omnipresent heaven. This is a whole stream on the omnipresence of you, not just a little bit of omnipresence of you. You are omnipresent. You are Zippo. Human, you are Zippo, confined into this bodily prison, unless you choose to believe it and identify with it, incarnation after incarnation. Let's just decrease how much we're identified this life. That's all. And increase the ability to rise up, you know, that spiritual ardor to lift up, and from a psychological defeat to a psychological victory as we lift up to a higher state of consciousness. Listen, his final line. So we usually fail to visualize the attainment of omnipresent heaven. Yeah, because we're drunk, we're numbed, we're just drugged out with human identification. Finally, last sentence. If one loves the bodily prison, how can she or he attract the divine experience of living in the joy of God resplendent in every atom of space? Once more, if one loves the bodily prison, how can she or he attract the divine experience of living in the joy of God resplendent in every atom of space? Hug the space dweller. Right here, right now. Embrace your omnipresence, children of the infinite light. Embrace the fact that you are divine technology. 100%. Embrace the fact, accept the truth that you are not human. That is a temporary false dream experience. Please accept the truth that we're living in a serious duality, and that there's only one way out, and that is the way in, into this deep, unbroken communion with the beloved. Instead of cell phone walking, we were walking with the hand of God. Instead of listening to the iTunes and all that, we're listening to the voice of our spirit soul talking to us. We're downloading only messages of truth until we have deleted all our old files of our old beliefs and all this other stuff that we just talked about. You've got to listen to this thing again. And then all we have is heavenly thoughts, heavenly, expansive, omnipresent, so that you and I can breathe in everything today. Everything spirit is, and then give our all to the all of the everything on an exhale. Breathe in everything. Everything spirit is. The omnipresence of you. You're not in a jailhouse. You're not a jail bird. All right? And you breathe out and you give all of your human to the all of your spirit nature. Okay? Inhale all that spirit is, bring it in, and exhale. You give your all to the all, back to the omnipresent you. Get fit for the infinite you. I rest my case. Have a beautiful rest of your day, children of the light. Wow. Of the now. Space dwellers.